Hello. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Open Office Hours. I'm Crystal Hinkle. I'm part of the team here at Syncro, and I will let the team introduce themselves.
Hey everybody, it's Tatiana. Welcome.
Hi everyone, I'm Brandy. Nice to see you.
Hey everybody, it's Hannah. Happy Friday.
Yes, happy Friday. And we're letting everyone know Brandy has lost her voice pretty much. So she's going to be helping us in the background and sending links. And if there's any quick things she can respond to, she's going to do that. We're not going to make her do a lot of talking today because it sounds like it hurts a little bit. But anyways, welcome to Open Office Hours. Thank you so much for joining us. For those of you that are returning, thank you. We're always happy to have you. If this is your first time in Open Office Hours, welcome. I encourage you to use the Q&A for any questions that you have. And it really doesn't matter what question it is. You could maybe not have ever even really looked at Syncro. You could be trialing, or you could be customers of Syncro for a year. So it really doesn't matter what the questions are. Everything is fair game. We'll be the first to tell you if we're not able to answer it. If it is more technical support or if we need assistance from the team, we'll let you know if we're working on getting an answer. But yeah, this is just kind of it's a safe space. All of your questions you can just ask, whatever those are. We do these every Friday. I did hit record. When I say that out loud, I always make sure that I actually did. It's recording. If you go to our YouTube channel, you can see that we do post those usually either Friday afternoon or Monday. So let me bring up the Q&A. It's a little bit quiet. I feel like some Fridays, it's like everyone's kind of waiting on someone else to ask the first question, and then they kind of start to like flow in. So let me think. I think one cool thing that's going on right now is, Splashtop is continuing to roll out. And that's super exciting for everyone on the team, all of our customers. So we're really, really, really happy and excited about that. So that's kind of fun that's happening. But, oh yeah, go ahead, Tatiana, where are you today? Jeremy wants to know.
I don't remember.
I'm looking in the background at those like rocks and ocean, and I'm like, I like that.
I will have to double check. Looks like Hawaii. It can be, I don't know. I'll have to come back to you. I forgot where I took this, grabbed this picture from.
Awesome. And Rob says, Rob, you're in Canada and your temperature just dropped 20 degrees. I'm very sorry. I'm in Spokane, Washington, so is Tatiana, and it's actually supposed to start getting warm this weekend a little bit. It's like 70, supposed to be 70 today, which is like starting to get warm. I'm excited. Let's see. Anyone read these yet? I haven't read any from Evan or Lance quite yet. Anyone read?
I can grab the one from Lance. He says, we seem to continually have issues with patch management portion of Syncro where it claims it's installing stuff, but many times we log into Windows and it has not been yet installed. Has there been any discussion on improving this portion or adding to it? So Lance, definitely we have had a lot of conversation about Windows patches. So it is something that's on our radar. If you haven't reached out to support yet, please do, so that they can take a closer look at your account and see if there's anything that we can do to help move that along. If you can say which assets they are and just provide as many details as possible. That really is kind of the only thing that we can do from a live Q&A session type of perspective is recommend that you reach out to support so that our team can take a closer look and pass things along to the devs so that we can continue to improve those.
Awesome. Thanks. I'm going to read this one from Evan because I actually don't know the answer to this, and maybe if there's someone that does. Evan just received the Splashtop update, which is awesome. Yay. I opened a connection to a machine from my office computer. Now I'm home on my laptop and I'm getting your computer or device is currently in another remote session. Is there a way I can kill connections left open on another machine? I don't know. Has anyone else done that before and figured out a way to take care of that connection? And then I'll see if I'm going to post this in my technical support channel and just see if I can get an answer, because I'm not really sure.
Thank you, Crystal. I have a question from Kimberly. Says, "Hi all, I'm still pretty new to Syncro and ran into a few hiccups. So first things first, welcome. Happy to have you aboard. I was hoping you might have some answers on a few questions. First one is, how do we create accounts for customers with many companies or one company with multiple branches that have a separate ship to and billing addresses if the customer uses the same email for them all? And then question number 2 is, how does billing work when it comes to multiple sites being billed to one client? So I'm going to share my screen here and I will show you how to address these. So make sure I'm getting on the same screen here. So first question is, if you have a customer that has multiple locations, there's 2 options. If you are billing each location individually, I would recommend building them out as their own customer, just because your endpoints are going to be organized a lot easier if they're just on the same customer profile. Tickets and invoices per that location if they are their own customer. So that is the way that I would recommend that. And that does kind of slide over to your question of if they're from the same company, how do I reuse that same email address? I would just say clear out this email customer information section right here and build out that main point of contact as an actual contact here of if it's the finance person who's doing the invoicing, the business owner, the manager, whoever it might be, just list them out and you can repeat these emails here, whereas this main point of contact email just kind of on the top business level is identifier and you can't reuse those. So I'm going to go back and make sure I didn't miss any pieces of your question. But yes, if they are their own separate site and you are invoicing them per site, just build them out as a brand new customer. If it is, let's say Larry's business it's just a local company and they have 2 locations and you are sending one invoice to this main Larry's business, you can either set them up as additional sites and addresses. Location 2, so you can build them out just like that, and then that way all of the tickets, everything that's getting tracked is going to go to this main branch location, and so let me know, Kimberly, if I missed anything. I'll be happy to come back and dive in a little bit further for you. And then Grady has a question. Is there a way to get notices for timers that have been running for a period of time? For example, if you stop a timer. So this is funny you ask. I don't think we have a setting for this, but obviously if you see this button right here, the active timers, it'll show. So ours, we are, I am the worst at stopping the timer. So I probably need to stop a couple of mine, but yes, any active timers are going to be sitting right up here. For you to take a closer look at and see if they need to be stopped or paused.
Are you ready, Hannah?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was reading. Yes, I have a question from Gary. How can I bulk update customer custom fields? I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. So there's a couple of bulk actions you can do for customers. Updating the individual custom fields, like the content within that, would be a feature request at this time, but there is a couple things you can do. So I'm here on the customers page and I'm going to select the customers I need and hit bulk actions and then edit. And so here you can update who needs to receive billing emails, or if there's no emails of any kind, you can update invoice templates and invoice terms, as well as sales tax. So a couple bulk actions for you there. If you are editing the just custom fields themselves across all of your clients, that will be done in the admin section. So under more and then admin, that you can underneath the customer section, go ahead and bulk kind of create the template for customer custom fields and contact custom fields, but bulk editing the data within those fields is not an option at this time.
Awesome. I think I am next. I'm going to go back up to here. You guys are popping off with these questions. I love it. Okay, so a question from Hannah. We are transitioning from I love these kinds of questions. Okay, we are transitioning from a break fix service model to a subscription style bundled services. For example, every month a client pays for their customer care bundle, which includes their software monitoring and miscellaneous labor services, things like that. Every bundle type is set up as a line item in Syncro and charged via recurring invoices monthly. One challenge we are currently facing is tracking which clients have yet to be transitioned to tracking this. Is there a report you can pull that says who doesn't have a certain service, or would you recommend setting up a custom and pulling the report in this way? Being set up in a way that allows these types of reports will also be helpful in case we increase our bundle offerings and want to track who has what service bundle. Interested to hear your recommendations. Okay, I love this. There's so many different things to approach here and different ways that you can think about this. So yes, you could, the one option here is you could build out a custom field type on the customer level, and you can say, you can basically categorize your customers if you want to. Yep, this customer is a break fix customer versus an MSP customer. So you can build out this type of a menu using the custom fields right here. The reason that this is a good option is because you can then pull in custom fields on the saved asset searches within the assets and RMM section. So you could create a saved asset, that custom field drop down menu, and you can say customer type is drop down field, and then you can find them who as a lead in here. And so that would be one or I'm sorry, I'm looking at the asset drop down menu here actually. You could filter either here by customer if you wanted to as well, or by policy. That would be another way if you wanted to classify how, if you're monitoring different things based services that you're offering to them, that actually would work with the saved asset searches. I just realized that custom fields don't get pulled into here. I'll show you a different section for that though. So here in the policy section, if you do have maybe two different monitoring packages, like a break fix package versus an MSP package, then you could use that saved asset search capabilities here to have a list of which assets or which customers are falling under that type of a policy. So the other thing I wanted to show here too is you could create a saved customer search as well, and that is how you would filter which custom field here. So same little magnifying glass here in the customer section, use it over to the left, create a new search, and then this is where you would be able to search that customer drop down custom field to where you're saying customer type is residential versus business versus MSP versus break fix or whatever it might be. And then the last tip I'll share here with you is if you wanted to, you could even send targeted email campaigns based on the saved customer search. So if you want to offer like an end of the month promotion or a Black Friday deal to your break fix customers and you're trying to move them towards an MSP model, you have the capability to create a new email campaign and say, I want to send a targeted email to my list of break fix customers based on this saved asset search here. So those are the different ways that you can think about it. There's probably at least 2 or 3 others, but I think the way that you're approaching this is there's definitely flexibility to find what you're looking for through Syncro.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to come back to this question from Evan about when you open a connection from a different machine. My understanding, I just talked to Andy actually, that that connection should end automatically, which he got another report that that might not be happening. So we're working on that right now. I think David was giving the suggestion to use live. I think that's in regards to Evan's using Syncro Live. And then Chris was saying if you can access services, you could restart the Splashtop service that might kill the connection. So letting you know, we are looking into that right now. We had one other report for that. So we are going to look into that right now. And then another Splashtop question, is there a way to turn off the pop-up dialog every time you start a Splashtop session? There's not a way to turn it off once the session starts. It should automatically turn off, but there's not a way to initially turn that off. And then I'm going to grab one more that's Splashtop related. Is there a timeout setting one can set up on the Splashtop host. Assuming it is the same client as their paid version, my use is a bit different as I have my own Splashtop management account and create customer specific deployments. So my understanding is if you're using the fully integrated Splashtop version within Syncro, that is not a setting, as far as I know. I might do a little bit of double checking on that, but as far as I know, that's not an option. Okay, I think that's it for me.
Awesome. I'll grab a couple here. David has a question. How do I run report on all work done to assets from a customer with multiple assets? I am going to go ahead and share my screen. And so, David, I would recommend to check out our executive summary report builder. And so let me go ahead and head over there. So in the report section, there'll be an executive summary report builder, and you can actually build out your own templates here and then report on activity, for example, within RMM type blocks for across your client. And so if we insert like a text block or a visual summary here, that then you can choose on what to report on. So whether it's alerts that were detected or alerts that were resolved, devices with antivirus coverage or antivirus threats that were detected, asset health summaries, this is going to be one of those. We also have a actually, let me just get a new tab here, an asset activity audit that then can report across multiple assets. And so here in the RMM section under the asset activity audit, you don't necessarily have to filter by specific asset. You can just filter by customer and then report on different activity types. And so that would be my recommendation there. Next one is Gary is asking, when we create a customer, we fill in the first and last name. It shows up as a part of the customer when searching other places. Do we need to complete these fields or can we leave them blank? That is a great question. So underneath customers, when you are creating a new customer, here you actually don't have to put in the first and last name. You can just put in the business and then the relevant information that you need. First and last name might be a little bit more applicable for if you support residential type clients, so they don't really have a business. They're just going to be a first and last name as opposed to businesses that you support. So great question there. And then I think I have one more. Yes, David. I sent in a bug report to help at syncromsp.com about the secret encrypted field box not giving me a text box. Can you see if your custom fields allow you to enter text? Yes. So he is talking about in the App Center that we are going to have Password Vault for you. And this is where you can create encrypted custom fields. There is a global password that you'll need to set here to release the information within those fields. But underneath I'm going to use contact custom fields as an example. So when I hit new field, after you've activated Password Vault, we can go ahead and create a custom field here, and it'll be, you can select the specific field here. And I'm not sure if you're wanting it to be text area, but I'm just going to put text field. And then when I create that field, that now it'll be an option here. So then when I go to my customer, actually I can do that over here. And then we did it on the contact. So we'll need to edit the contacts custom fields. And so now I'll have this secret field here. Oh, let's see. Where's my encrypted one? Okay, I just did it. And then now I wanted to reduplicate that for you. So let me do that again. And then that way, but it should give you an option that you'll need to enter in your global password to then release that field to add in the information that you need.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to grab a couple of these from the top. Randy said, I would like to see monthly charged, uncharged, and billed hours on the customer screen. It shows prepaid hours, but this is almost always 0. Hours also don't seem to show unless invoiced. We only invoice contracts on the first. So correct, the prepaid hours don't deduct until they've been added to an invoice. And then as far as the monthly charged, uncharged, and billed hours on the customer screen, happy to forward that on as a feature request. I think there's like billed and what is it, billed and like balance or something. But yeah, I think that makes sense to be able to add to that customer detail screen. I'll pass that along. And then another one from Randy on sites, can Syncro calculate tax per site? We have clients with 5 locations, 3 have different tax zones. Also, there is no apparent way to show the site charge on the invoice. So this is real, this comes up often. As of right now, if you have different sites with different tax rates and that you have to bill separately, or they need to be shown different on a reoccurring invoice, we actually have been recommending that those locations be just separate customers. I'm not sure if that's possible, because I mean, you can still have the invoice going to the same person. It would just be different invoices for each location. So you could keep those separate, as well as set a default rate, a default tax rate. Because right now you can't set a default tax rate per site. I think there was a few other ones. I love this from Aaron. Can we create technician groups and have ticket assignment to that pool instead of named technicians? Or say I have 10 new unassigned tickets, is there a way to evenly distribute those tickets automatically to my lower level technicians? So I love this request, absolutely love it. Right now, there's a way to like auto assign certain, like with an SLA, you could, or with an email rule, you could have any sort of email ticket go to a specific technician, but not necessarily a group. However, you could have it automatically assign a certain issue type if it was from a customer, or a certain type of customer, where then all of the tier 1 or the level 1 technicians could have their ticket view, like their saved ticket view, only looking at those tickets. But to automatically round robin, we don't have that set up on a tech side. Is there a way to search text within a custom field? So the search all things searches a lot. It searches name, ticket subject, like asset name, like random like it could be whatever asset. Like it does a pretty good job, but it's not going to search custom fields at this point, that search all things field. I think the last one that I grabbed, and I'll just address while I'm unmuted. Adam says, looking through the Facebook group, Sentinel-1 is used quite a bit with Syncro. Are there any plans to implement any form of integration with it? As of today, we don't have anything officially planned out. We do get this request quite often. We definitely recommend checking out Bitdefender. We do have a free trial of Bitdefender, whether you're trialing Syncro or you're actually, if you have a subscription with Syncro, you can still do a 30-day trial with Bitdefender. They do have a ton of different add-ons, including EDR and things like that, that closely relate to the functionality. So I would suggest that, but I will pass the request along because we do get it often, as you've noticed in Facebook group. All right, I think I'm done.
Ooh, that was awesome. Good job, Crystal. I have a follow-up here from David. Says, would your answer to Kimberly address my issue with separate phone numbers for different locations? I'd rather have both sites under one customer, but I can live with 2 customers if it lets me handle calls, marketing, emails for different addresses. So yes, let me share my screen again and I'll show you around. So here on the customer profile, you can, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, this is where you would be able to see and create new additional sites and addresses. So for mine, it looks like I have 3. 1 is empty, and then the 2 are listed here. So this is where you're going to build those out as additional sites and addresses. Phone numbers gets interesting though, because if we go to edit this now custom sites and addresses, you'll see the addresses listed here. But for some reason, they're not listed here on the contact per contact level, which actually somebody, you probably know who it is and what location they're at, and then you would be able to put in the address here. So the phone number, the custom phone number, custom email address, where you can really have more freedom is going to be here in the contact section. So on the contact profile, you can say where they're working at and then list as many phone numbers as necessary, and then still keep this the 2 locations under the same customer profile, if that makes sense. So please let me know if that was helpful to you. Next question is from Jeremy. He says, oh, this is so fun. Jeremy knows all the secret things about Syncro. When you even select an icon to represent, you can even select a icon to represent a specific custom field value that shows the client name. Yes, so let me show you guys. It's kind of a fun thing. Here, when you are building out your customer profile, as you can see, mine has the peace sign and then mine says happy because I created a custom field drop-down menu. Mine is happy, meaning they're paid or they're behind. And how you can build those out is if you click manage custom fields. Here's my billing status. It's a drop-down menu. I clicked edit there. And then what you can put in an icon here. So if I were to hit behind, it would make that sad face right next to the customer name. So just a quick random, I feel like not a lot of people know about that, but it's pretty cool.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. I just have a follow-up for David with the encrypted fields. And so here, David, with the encrypted fields on the contact, so you'll just need to make sure that you select encrypted, which I'm sure you did. And then on the contact field here, it'll have this little, I guess, pen and paper. And so this is where you'd be able to enter in your password vault password to then release that field to enter in that information that you need there. And so if you don't have that little pen and paper to go ahead and enter in the password vault password, that's definitely something that support needs to take a look at for you. And then that way you can go ahead and get that visibility there to enter in the text that you need. And so that was that one. And then Aaron is asking, could Syncro clear the queue to available agents? And so I'm wondering if this would help you in the ticket module that you can create saved ticket views for your team members. And these can be default views as well. So we have like a sort by date default view. But here you can create a default view for them that would then be the tickets that are not assigned to anybody. And so if they were going to pick up tickets that were just assigned to no one, you could save this view for them and make that a default. And then when they pull up the tickets module, it would go ahead and show them all of the tickets that are not assigned to anybody yet.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Hannah. I have a question from Evan. Says, we still get a handful of customers emailing our text directly. Oh, this is funny. He says, we're forwarding these requests to our Syncro support mailbox, which is somewhat a passive aggressive way of reminding them that they should be emailing our support mailbox directly. Is there a way to customize the response sent to customers when forwarding those messages so we can politely remind them of the best methods of reaching support? So kind of funny, but yes, let me share my screen here and I'll show you an idea that I have for you. So one thing you could do is consider this. You can set up as many in mailboxes that you want. So if you go over to the admin section, you could say that I want to set up a mailbox. And if it's like company.com, Hana at yourcompany.com, and somebody's just kind of emailing us directly, you could set up an active mailbox to where that's still generating. Can create a custom autoresponder here that says like, hey, please remember to submit a ticket to help@ourcompany.com. So I think that would be one way that you could do it without being so like, hey, you're emailing us the wrong place again. So just something to consider there, because yeah, you can set up the autoresponder there, and then even if you want it assigned to that person, you can, or if you don't, it'll just go into the regular queue, if that makes sense. So that's one quick thought there. And then the other questions that I have, Randy and Jeremy were saying about the icons. So let me show that again real quick. There really isn't anything else to mention about the icons. Jeremy was just saying like, if you want to break-fix customer versus an MSP customer, that would be a really easy way to do that. But beyond that, there isn't anything super fancy other than that about the icons. There's a ton to choose from here to just kind of display it with whatever that you want to attach meaning to that as needed.
Cool. Do you want me to go, Brandy, or you want to go first?
I can grab this one really quick. I'll spare you guys my voice as long as I can. But I just want to show the asset activity audit for you. So this is actually a pretty cool report. there was a question about like all assets for one customer. So you can absolutely just filter by this customer, and then you can choose what you want to show here. So I really like this for showing installed and uninstalled and updated applications. You can show Windows patching. You can actually show all of your remote sessions. I really like being able to show the automations too, because if you have your automated remediation set up and you still want a paper trail of this, you're able to show that. So this is a pretty cool report that you can utilize. I ran it, just takes a couple seconds depending on how much data you have. You can see I have a lot for this customer, but you're also going to be able to choose custom date range in here too. And then I can have this scheduled. So you can either send it to yourself or just go ahead and send that to your customers on a regular basis. Hopefully that helps.
It does. Thank you. I was going to grab this one for Heidi. You might want to, we have salesperson who earns percent of pre-tax dollars on reoccurring invoices for clients. Is it possible to use commissions for this? Where do I set up the percent commission? So it's a two-step process. So the first thing you would do is go to the reoccurring invoice. There's a spot where you can say employee for commission, and it's a drop down, and you can select your technician. From the actual reoccurring invoice, there's no place to like put a percentage of what that commission would be for that technician. So to be able to pull a report, you would then just go to reports. It's under employees, and it's called the employee sales and commission report. And from there, there's just the UI it confused me the first time because it says commission report, and then in light gray you can see 15, like an example of 15%, but it kind of looks like it's grayed out, like you can't click in there, but you actually have to click in there and put the percentage, and then you can run a report. So it's essentially like it's that two-step process, and you can't set the percentage from the reoccurring invoice, but from the reoccurring invoice you can select the employee and then run the report and select which commission rate you'd like to do there. Let's see, did I grab anything else? Oh, Grady wants to know, are sales tax items able to sync with QuickBooks Online tax items? So as far as I know, yes. I say that like that because I think I might be reading this. I think I could read this question in two different ways, but what I want to say is that for QuickBooks Online, when you create any sort of product or service, you can link it to that product or service in your QuickBooks Online. So it has a tax rate associated with it. So all of those things should sync, especially with QuickBooks Online. That helps.
I did get an answer on that specifically. It's from technical support. During the integration setup, they'll need to map the taxes in both places. So you can't create a new tax rate in Syncro and have it sync. If they add a sales tax in Syncro, they will need to create the same one in QuickBooks and then go to the QuickBooks setting and map the new tax rate. Awesome. And then I'll just pick up this one from Cindy. Any way to have Splashtop ask permission for the user to allow the tech into his computer? Yes. So inside the policy, I'm just going to share my screen here. Inside policies, where you have your Splashtop activated, that there is going to be a require client permission for remote access option. The next question is, if yes, is there a way to bypass it if the user is not responding, which I think is going to be no. If it's require attended access, that then you will need the client's permission.
Awesome. I have a question here from Martin. Can I stop the pre-pending discounted per contract when adding a ticket charge, which gets discounted due to being associated with a contract that has a discounted labor rate? So as far as I know, not at this time. I'm going to share for those of you guys that might be new to Syncro that don't know what he's referring to is through Syncro, when you are billing out your initial products and services section, obviously you're going to keep it here in your inventory section. And if you need to customize the cost for something for a customer, you can do that through our contracts through Syncro. You can So easiest example here is if you have Larry on an all-you-can-eat type of model, he's paying you $10,000 a month, you're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you're not going to be billing him per hour. So instead of having to build out a custom product here each and every single time for everything that you're selling to Larry to accommodate that new pricing, you can say, yep, for labor for Larry, it's going to be usually I'm billing $250 an hour, for him it's $0 because I'm collecting that lump sum upfront. So what happens is when you do set this override, you'll notice that on tickets, it will show discounted per contract. And I think these are the words that you're looking to remove. And unfortunately, I can't find a setting for that. So I don't think it's currently available. I checked the ticket tags and it's not listed there. So I don't think that's a setting that can be removed at this time, but I can definitely pass that along to the team for you if you'd like me to.
Awesome. I just want to give you an update, David. The question is, when I forward emails to support@mycompany.com, it sends the auto response to me. Is it supposed to email the contact? When it comes to forwarding emails, I'm getting clarification right now. I just didn't want you to think that I was ignoring the question. I'm actually right now pinging my technical support team because I just want to make sure I'm able to give you an answer, hopefully by the time. Oh, we've got plenty of time. I'll get an answer for you. Just didn't want you to think I was ignoring it.
Shane has an update for us. Thank you so much, Shane. RE, the Splashtop user consent. There is a way to bypass if user is not responding and to not require consent if PC is at the login screen, but may require a registry entry though. Thank you so much for that.
I'm going to read this one from Jeremy because I don't think there's a way to do this. But speaking of tax rate, I sync tax rates from QuickBooks Online, but when new rates roll out on the 1st of the month, I'm not awake yet when the reoccurring invoice processes at 6 a.m. Is there a way to schedule the tax rate refresh from QuickBooks Online? You're not up at 6 a.m. Like, let's address the first. No, I'm just joking. I don't think there's a way to schedule this. I don't know. I wouldn't know enough if there's anything you can do, like with a script or anything like that. But as far as I know, I don't think there's a way to schedule this. Sorry. Who's up?
I'll grab a follow-up from Randy. He's kind of adding on to the discounted per contract message. He says he'd rather it would discount by the dollar amount than by hours, as time or holiday hours, and Syncro just deducts the one if those are not excluded. 1 hour regular versus 1 hour overtime are not the same. Thank you. Yeah, I totally hear that. Makes sense. And there's going to be like, there's obviously that like sales psychology of like, is it $100 off or is it 50% off? And so it's it definitely, that makes sense to me. We'll pass it along for you guys.
Garrett has a comment to David's question about forwarding the emails. Actually, thanks so much, Garrett, for this. He says, use redirect to send to your support email. Looks like it comes from original customer rather than forwarding.
Okay, I'm going to head back to the question from David. The response that I'm getting, okay, so the expected behavior is that if you're forwarding in an email from an email address that is directly associated with a technician or user license within Syncro, we should recognize that and the autoresponder should go to the contact. If that's not the case, if that is the case, if you're forwarding it in with the email that's associated with your technician user in Syncro, please let our technical support team know so that they can research and look into this, because the expected behavior is that if it is linked to your Syncro user, it should direct the autoresponder to the contact.
Awesome. Okay, so I have one here from Anonymous. Says, how can we create a customer without providing an email in the customer info basic info field? Every time I make a customer, it says that the email, phone, and first and last name is required. So yes, this is going to be part of your initial Syncro setup. I'm going to share my screen. show you and also drop this KB into the chat box for you of our Getting Started with Syncro guide. So if you go over to More, Admin, and then head over to your Customers section under Preferences, and then click Additional Settings. Actually, you don't even need to click Additional Settings. It's right here for you. So it's the last line here. It says optionally require these fields when creating a customer. Just make sure you have those unselected and you will not be required to enter them. So especially the email one, I can see how that can trip you up, because if you're having like that whole conversation we already had about the same email address for multiple clients, if that's required, there isn't a way around it unless you unselect this box. Really great question.
Fuzi says, happy Friday, best team in the world. Happy Friday to the best community ever. Awesome. We are trying to bring in our vendor list products and customers into Syncro PSA. What is the best way? I'll show you guys a couple of ways. And she says, for Brandy, mix honey and olive oil. It will help. Oh, thank you for that. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we do have a couple of importer tools in the App Center. And so if you go to the App Center, I think yours will be sectioned out, but all of ours are in here under this agent installer. And so in here, you'll have a couple of importer tools as well as a ConnectWise importer tool that's elsewhere on app cards. Otherwise, you can go to the admin section, and a lot of places you can go ahead and import via CSV. And so under customers, there's going to be customer import, and then that way your CSV will be there. You'll also be able to import contacts via CSV. And then especially for products, that there'll be also a under inventory, a inventory import, where then you can import via CSV as well. And then our technical support team can also help you bring in via CSV tickets as well as assets.
Awesome. Thanks, Hannah. Martin, I've noticed that Control-Shift-V does not paste into the UAC prompt or password field at logon screen. It works everywhere else. Is this a Splashtop limitation? So I just asked Andy, and his suggestion for Word, if it's a limitation on the Splashtop side, the best thing would be to reach out and ask Splashtop, because apparently like that function, once the connection is initiated on the Syncro side, like that functionality isn't controlled by Syncro anymore. So I think that the option would be to reach out to Splashtop to see, because I'm not positive on that one. Okay, another one from Martin. I pay my Syncro bill annually. Is there any way that I could put additional text on monthly? Reason being, I have a customer in-house IT manager, which I have set up as a tech with only his company that he can see, but it might be a 3-month deal. Now I've had to pay for a year. Really great question. We get this often. Right now, that there isn't an option to have an annual subscription and a monthly subscription. What we do is if you paid annually a couple months ago and then add someone, that person is prorated until your next annual subscription date. But if you then remove them, it's not a refund. If you have rolling users, one thing that I would suggest, say that one that you have for 3 months is leaving, and then you might have someone else that you would bring in, almost like a replacement of user. If that were the case, then I would absolutely reach out to our billing department and swap, basically take one user out, one user in kind of thing. Otherwise, it's not a possibility to go month to month for certain users. Okay. I was looking, I'm going to read this one. Any plans to improve the toggle integration? If it were to work with more than one toggle user, it would be the best thing since sliced bread or Splashtop smiley face. Interesting. Okay. I don't think we have necessarily any plans to update that integration, but I'm happy to pass that request along. Is Garrett helping? I love this. Garrett says, at David, depends on what email client you use, but you should have a redirect option for your message in the same menu as forward. Is that helpful? Also, honey, and did you say olive oil or vegetable oil? Because
He said olive oil, which sounds terrible, but
I'm having a really hard time thinking about that. I can't stop thinking about it, actually. So
Do it.
I've been living on Starbucks medicine balls. So if you have not ever had one, I am not sick, by the way, you guys. I just lost my voice. So the Starbucks medicine ball, for those of you who have never had it and you have sick spouses or you're sick, you will make their day. It's like jade citrus mint tea, like a mint tea with honey, and they use, instead of steamed water with the tea, it's half steamed lemonade, and it's awesome. So you should get it, even if you're not sick.
So is this thing on the menu? Because
You just say
I've
medicine ball. It's not on the menu, but if you say medicine ball, it doesn't matter what Starbucks you're at. They know exactly what it is. Some people call it sick tea. Did someone say something about it?
Anna said, former
Oh!
Starbucks barista here.
Half jade citrus and half peach. It's so good. I've literally had 5 in the last 2 days.
I'm not
Okay, Crystal, if they give you a weird look and you say medicine ball, you can say honey citrus mint.
Okay, Hannah, since you're here, I need to know like all the best secret menu items to order.
No, I'm
This
thinking.
is great.
Yes. Now I see, and I don't even have a sore throat, but I'm thinking Starbucks run right after this. Sounds like a really good option. Oh, one thing before I forget, I was just getting a little bit of a notification saying that there's another copy paste option in Splashtop, and we're looking into it. So hopefully within the next 14 minutes, I'll have an alternate option for copy paste in Splashtop. Let me open up this doc. There is an option to paste the clipboard as keynotes. So let me just look at this doc. Oh, it's like a screen share. Hold on. Let me make sure. Paste clipboard. Oh, okay. Let me grab this link here real quick. I just want to make sure that should bypass Windows block on pasting from clipboard. Cool. I'm going to put this in the chat real quick. This is like just a little screen share. So this, oh shoot, I think I always do that. I always send it just to the panelists. Hello, all panelists and I'm the worst. Yes, I am in technical sales and I don't know how to work chat in Zoom. Okay, so there you go. Cool, that was from Frank. So I'm gonna say thank you to Frank for that. Okay, cool. What else? Things are getting quiet. Everyone's out running and getting a medicine ball.
I was gonna say, I didn't realize Carla was in here, but she just sent me a message and said that olive oil is really good for your throat. So I guess I'll believe it now. More than one person. It's so funny. I like wake up and I talk to myself to see like, what's my voice today?
I had laryngitis one time and it's like the weirdest thing because you don't feel, I didn't feel sick.
No.
It was like the only thing, but it was it was bizarre. It was a weird thing.
Supposed to fly this weekend and I feel like they're gonna look at me like I'm sick.
They're gonna like kick you off.
Just be silent.
Ooh, hot chocolate and honey? Now.
Okay, this is getting better.
Like that I can get on board with. Those are two things that sound delicious. Cool. Oh, I love this. Who wants to go? Grady says, or so maybe we can do this, but then also if anyone out in the that's listening right now, does someone have a favorite rarely used feature they want to share? I love this question. Hannah or Tatiana, did either of you want to share anything that's like your favorite thing? I know what Brandy's favorite thing is, but I don't want to make her talk. But if anyone wants to show off how to customize the agent contact form, then I think that's like, I know that's Brandy's favorite and it's one of my favorites too.
I can show a favorite really quick. Actually, my absolute favorite is the icons. I was on a demo the other day and we searched for a beer icon, and he was like, "That's what I need to move forward with Syncro," and we found it, so it's there.
The customer icon thing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He's like, as long as there's beer there, I'm like, okay, there it is. So it's there. That's one of my favorite ones.
I'm gonna start my demos off like that. Yeah, we have unlimited endpoints. Yeah, it's an all-in-one pin glove. But did you see the icons? We have a beer icon.
That is my absolute favorite. But another one of my favorites is going to be in the mailer. So just being able to blast email against a saved asset search. So just talking on some demos this week with people who need to, oh, that's the follow-up one. People who need to send out blast emails for like updates that are going to happen for devices on a certain operating system. So you can create a saved asset search for that specific operating system and then go ahead and send out a blast email to all of the contacts with assets within that saved search. And so that is one of my favorites, and that's in the mailer.
Awesome. Thank you, Hannah. I want to show something that I think might be rarely used just because we don't, just kind of one of those things that exists, but if you use it, you need to just set it up once and then you don't have to think about it again, which is really nice. So for the appointments section, you could attach a product to an appointment type. So for example, if click on-site appointment, set it up there, and then when I create the appointment, what will happen will be a charge ticket that, hey, I'm going on site, I've attached a trip charge. And this is just one of those things that you can set up that kind of just helps you make sure you're not leaving any money on the table because you forgot to add that. So if I'm going on site and I set that as an appointment type, I can attach that to a product here. Or another one of those things that you kind of just don't really think of that it's there, because again, you guys work super hard, you have a amazing skill to have, which is why you should get paid the big bucks. So we try to help you make sure you're not leaving any money on the table. So another one of those features is here. If we go to the works on estimates, I believe it works on tickets as well. But if you're adding any line item in here, you can say, yeah, I need to sell them a Dell laptop. There's a way for you to set up a setting here to where it will create a pop-up alert, an upsell opportunity that just reminds you in your text, whoever's adding this product here, so like, hey, if they need a laptop, they might need. If they do, yep, go ahead and there you go. You just increase your bottom line there. So I just love those quick things like that.
Awesome. Thanks. I'm gonna grab this one from David. Hopefully we can help you here. Made the mistake of posting an RMM agent link adds to my default company to my website this morning and had several people I don't know add assets by installing it. I've removed the downloads, but is there anything I can do to stop them? So even if it's just temporary, what I would recommend is heading to your admin section. If you go to your RMM and then go to preferences, there's a way that you can say asset approval and require asset approval. And then you can auto approve assets from known IPs. And so even if it's like just temporary, like somehow it's still out there somewhere, maybe you could just make sure that your assets require an approval. Can anyone think of anything else? Otherwise, I can't think of anything else. I don't know if there's a way to like disable somehow an installer. So if that doesn't seem to work, maybe reach out to our technical support team, but hopefully that will help. All right, Hannah, are you up?
Yeah, I'll grab this one from Randy. Can someone go over the documentation section, adding pics, how to search for docs, etc.? Yes, most definitely. And so I'm going to share my screen here. In the documentation center, this is where you can make documents that are internal, visible on all your client portals or on just single customer portals. And so there will be a search bar here within the documentation section. There is also, when you search all things, for the name of the document to also come up. So if we look for like this external for Jody and I go ahead and type that in, oops, like that, it will go ahead and be wiki pages and give you a quick click to that documentation page. But inside the documentation page, oh, that's credentials in particular, but when we hit edit, that then you'll be able to create documentation for what you need. So adding in available files here. There's also template tags there that you can utilize in here. And then you'll be able to go ahead and format the document in the way that you need. You can also just edit the text there. You can go ahead and insert images as well as links, media, and tables if you need. So a lot of options for customization and even add in links that you need to have there. And then right here is where you decide how you want it to be displayed. So whether you'd like it to be internal only on the customer portal or all customer portals. If you make them visible for a specific client, there's an easy click to them as well on the main customer page. And so if you're here at the main customer page, when you drill down, you'll be able to see their documentation, whether it's specifically internal or visible on the client portal.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Hannah. That was super helpful. Question from Randy says, I'd like to track outbound calls. We get a log of inbound calls. Any thoughts? Just around that is our integration with FreePBX, which I assume is what you're using anyway for those inbound calls. So if that's not a functionality that's available there, I don't know of another way to track outbound calls at this time other than just obviously ticket.
Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna go. Oh, Brandy, you're getting called out on Spill the Beans, Brandy. She hasn't done this in a really long time, everyone. But she doesn't even have a voice. She can't do it. But Andy mentioned on the Facebook group that not only should Mac Splashtop be ready soon, but Syncro is also bringing PowerShell to the Mac client. That's huge to add to my scripts and ticket generation. Garrett, yes, we're working on it. Don't have like a specific date that I can give, but I know that it's actually being worked on right now. So super, super excited about that. I know you are too. I know a lot of folks are. Then I was going to grab this one from David. This is probably in the documentation, but while I'm thinking of it, is there a way, which is what Open Office Hours is all about, is there a way to schedule future tickets without it affecting my service level agreement? I want to enter a ticket for 2 p.m. appointment, or is that an appointment instead, not a ticket? So there's a couple ways that you can do that. Yeah, you can absolutely just schedule an appointment out and then create a ticket once that appointment shows up. You can also schedule reoccurring tickets though. So like if it's something that you're doing on a weekly basis or every other week or whatever, you can create a ticket and make it reoccurring so that it won't affect your service level agreement because it won't start that timer until the ticket's generated. So I think depending on, I think there's a couple ways you could do that. All right, go ahead, Tatiana.
Awesome, thank you so much. Here from David, he says, to other users, if you made a credentials document available in the customer portal, make sure to enable portal security. Absolutely, this is a big deal. Make sure you have MFA enabled for your customer portal, especially if you're passing credentials to the portal. So for those of you that have not yet set this up, if you go to your customer profile, tab over to credentials, you can make these either internal to you, which means private, or you can make it available via the customer portal. So this is the first step here, is choosing how you want those credentials to be displayed, either here in the credentials tab, on the contacts tab here, all the way down at the bottom, or through that documentation section that Hannah just showed you guys. But once you set up your credentials and you do want to portal, make sure when you enable the portal user, this is going to be where you can require multi-factor authentication. You can also set the level of permission each person has. Maybe they don't need access to credentials. They only need the ability to see their open tickets or something like that. This is also where the remote access for, so this is another obviously reason to make sure that MFA is enabled on those. It's actually going to be required for those remote access sessions through Splashtop for end users to remote into their own endpoints. So really, really great tip there. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to grab a few. We've got like 1 minute left. I don't know how that happened, but Lance wants to know, is there an option to connect to phones or tablets with the Splashtop integration? So it's not via the fully integrated version within Syncro, since it does require that an agent is installed. So not through our integrated version. Hannah says, how would you recommend tracking pricing negotiations and changes? And so you're doing it in documentation right now. I kind of love the idea of tracking that within a contract. It's not reportable, but there is a notes section within contract, so at least it's all in the same place and you have one place to look within Syncro. I'm flying through these. Can we schedule a reoccurring appointment without a ticket? Right now, we don't have the ability to schedule reoccurring appointments. We updated to like be able to schedule all day appointments, but not reoccurring appointments. Feature requests at this point, Randy.
And I'll take William's question really fast. Is it possible to create a ticket for a client based on a subject line from a specific email? Yes, there is. William, go to the admin section and then under mailboxes and go to email rules and set up email rules for your mailbox.
Oh, I was already unmuted. Okay. I don't want to leave you hanging on this one, Randy, but we are at time when clicking on updates on an asset. Is there a way to schedule those later? Example, after 10 p.m. So I guess it depends on the update. I don't think there's, maybe I'm not understanding the question, but I don't think there's a way to do that. Okay. Whew. It's always a flurry right at the end, but thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We'll be here again next Friday. Brandy will have her voice, and we hope to see you all again. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Happy weekend.
Bye, guys.
Bye.